Okay, to set up the Battle of Antietam, we are going to review a little bit the Second Battle of Bull Run. So, after the failed 7 days battle, Donovan, who did President Lincoln replace General George McClellan with?
What are we on?
We're on the Second Battle of Bull Run. I'm asking you, after the failed 7 days battle in which the Union was defeated by the Confederates, Lincoln replaced General George McClellan because he wasn't that happy with him. And who did he replace him with?
With Halleck.
General Henry Halleck. And Halleck's first action, Jamie Luna, was to do what? It's the first thing he did.
Start a new army.
Very good, which was called the Army of Virginia. Now, he was not a field commander. Henry Halleck was not a field commander. He was an overall commander. So, Ray, who did he give the field command of this new Army of Virginia to? John Pope. And John Pope made the decision that he would make another advance towards Richmond, Virginia, the Confederate capital, and he attacked at the Confederate capital on August 29th of 1862. So, on that date, the Union Army of Virginia met General Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army at Bull Run Creek. That's why we call it the Second Battle of Bull Run. Now again, the Confederates held the day. They forced the Union troops back across Bull Run Creek toward Washington, D.C. Lincoln was upset with Halleck after his defeat at the Second Battle of Bull Run. And Shayla, who did he replace him with? McClellan. He put McClellan back in charge. Now, we told you that the Confederates had pretty good self-esteem. They were very encouraged because of all the battles we fought, other than those in the Mississippi River region, the Confederates had won them all. And their self-esteem was high, they had great success, and they decided to stage 3 powerful offensives to try to regain control of the Mississippi River, to try to recover the ground lost in Tennessee and Kentucky, but most importantly, the biggest decision is they were going to invade the border state of Maryland and try to draw that state into the Confederacy. Because it was the border state of Maryland that separated Richmond, Virginia, the Confederate capital, from Washington, D.C., the Union capital. And that takes us then to the Battle of Antietam. Okay? And we're going to lecture on this, and I'm going to show you a video so you get the full show of it. Okay? So, on September 4th of 1862, General Robert E. Lee marched 40,000 Confederate troops into Maryland, very confident of victory. So again, on September 4th of 1862, General Robert E. Lee marched 40,000 Confederate troops into the border state of Maryland, very confident of victory. Now this is how history is kind of weird, because really, under the circumstances, Lee goes in and probably defeats McClellan at Antietam, and who knows what happened. Realistically, that's probably what would have happened. But something happened, something weird happened, that changed the course of not only the Civil War, but maybe American history. A Union soldier was out scouting prior to the battle, and he found 3 cigars that were wrapped in paper. Just happened to see them on the ground. He found 3 cigars that were wrapped up in paper. Well, the Union soldier was interested in those cigars, and so he unwrapped the paper from the cigars, but then noticed writing on the paper. Okay, so he unwraps these 3 cigars with the intention of having a good smoke or 2 or 3, because he probably didn't have as good a tobacco. Who knows what they had. But the Union soldier decides to unwrap the paper and he notices writing on it. Well, the writing on the paper was a detailed strategy of Lee's assault on Maryland. Evidently, an officer had dropped those 3 cigars, which had the strategy, a complete battle plan of what Lee was going to do in Maryland. Exactly his movements and everything. So this Union soldier takes these plans right to General McClellan's headquarters and hands him Lee's complete strategy and movements for this upcoming Battle of Antietam. What was McClellan known as? What type of commander? Aggressive or conservative? Very careful and conservative. And he was always apprehensive to engage the enemy until he knew exactly what they were going to do. Well, now Union General McClellan knows the exact whereabouts and intentions of General Lee. So he's not going to be reluctant to attack as he has been in the past. So Union General McClellan receives this battle strategy that were wrapped up in these 3 cigars found by one of his soldiers out scouting. He brings them to McClellan. McClellan now knows the exact whereabouts and intentions of General Lee. And with this important information, McClellan will not be reluctant to attack the Confederates as he has been in the past. So, on September 17th of 1862, on September 17th of 1862, the Union's Army of the Potomac collides with the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia. On September 17th of 1862, the Union's Army of the Potomac collides with the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia. During this conflict, Lee's army of 40,000 will fight against McClellan's army of 70,000. So on September 17th of 1862, the Union Army of the Potomac, 70,000 strong, will collide with the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia, 40,000 strong.
Sorry, how much was the?
70,000. Now, these 2 sides fight furiously against each other. And finally, the Union wins a victory in a cornfield, which you will see on the video. And both sides are completely exhausted after that Union victory in that cornfield. They fight furiously back and forth. And finally, the Union wins a victory in a cornfield, and both sides are completely exhausted. General Lee moves the Confederates back to Virginia and fails to get that important victory on what was considered Union soil because it was a border state and not committed to the South. So Lee backs off. Another tactical mistake of the war. What does McClellan do after Lee begins to move his troops back into Virginia? He stays. He chooses not to pursue the Confederates again. Many historians believe if he would have followed the South into Virginia, they may have won a victory there and taken the Confederate capital and ended the war. Twice now. 21,000 casualties occurred on both sides during the Battle of Antietam. 21,000. 4,000 were killed and approximately 17,000 wounded in this battle. So casualties during the Battle of Antietam were very high on both sides.
In total or
as nearly 21,000 casualties on both sides were counted, 4,000 soldiers killed in battle, another 17,000 wounded, and again, a great loss of life. Now, when we watch this, I want you to pay attention, and they're going to, again, come up with some people I want you to kind of follow and see what eventually happens to them. I could lecture this in detail, and we could have a hand cramp on notes. That's more of an AP deal. I want you to get the gist and see it. Yeah?
So if you would have pursued, you could have picked off that one.
They think so. There's no guarantee, but historians believe he would have a great chance.
That could happen on the first one too.
Yeah. No, we've had some issues. So we're going to watch this. Now again, kiddos, listen to me. I show you these videos because I trust that you are interested and they'll make some sense. This is a good one. It's fairly lengthy as well. So pay attention.